Welcome back, everyone, to the kickoff day here for Season 2 of Grandmasters. Today is August 23rd, 2019.
Here we go.
And I finally have my history fact. Today was, in 2000, the first finale of Survivor, which was the Outlast and Outplay.
Wow.
Where I believe Ken Hatch
Yeah.
was able to win the $1 million prize pool. And he was infamous for running around naked around the island during that season.
Yeah, I actually watched every episode of that show with my family. In 2000, I would have been 10 years old. So I remember that. I remember watching the entire season.
Yes.
Great television.
Yeah, I remember Richard Hatch was very much my spirit animal. So, you know what? I want to grow up one day and win $1 million running around naked. And here I am.
It's a bold dream, Dan. It's a bold dream. I wish you well on your adventure.
Yes. Speaking of...
Please don't do it here.
Winners of what feels like millions of dollars, Gallon and Firebat have competed for quite some years now. Firebat winning the first World Championship, which didn't quite have the $1 million prize pool, but still a cool $100K to his name, and then went on to win a lot more money. Can he, the original veteran of Hearthstone's championship, take down the newest comer to Grandmaster, who has replaced Dog this season? Gallon with a second-place finish in Masters Tour Vegas, one of the most serious competitors in America's, looking to stamp his mark on Hearthstone history.
Yeah, that's right. And Gallon and Firebat also have, you see Gallon sometimes on Firebat's stream. They've been, I would say, decent friends. I don't know too much about their friendship beyond that, but kind of cool for Gallon to go up against Firebat in his very first match in Grandmasters. And you may notice one of the more understated rule changes for Season 2 of Grandmasters is that players are no longer required to have backdrops, which gives us a little more personality. Of each of the players, getting to see what they have in their
now you have the
Hearthstone room
issues.
of choice. Yeah, but whatever. One player, a player who plays Hearthstone on stream for a living. The other player, not so much. And it's quite apparent which players are which.
Yes. One player plays for a living, and one player is the 2014 World Champion.
Well, let's get into it. Game number one. Firebat going to be playing that Holy Wrath Paladin, and Gallon on the combo Priest.
Yeah, Firebat tweeted about this Paladin deck and said that he felt really confident in it, that he feels like Paladin's one of the best decks in the format, and it's reflected in the fact that 4 out of the 5 matches that we'll be seeing today, a player has brought OTK Paladin. And, it's a very interesting deck that's gotten some new tools, mainly off the back of Zephyrus. This is a card that people were anticipating going into Highlander decks, but the nice thing is, if you have no cards in your deck, it turns out you have no duplicates. So Zephyrus, you draw a ton of cards with the normal OTK Paladin deck, which, by turn 6 or 7 on average, you can get to the bottom 5.
Absolutely.
Then Zephyrus can activate, and you can pick the ideal card. Against slow matches, you pick Tyrion. Against fast matches, you pick Board Clear and Life Gain. And, you ultimately still get that combo off. It's a lot of damage that goes through, despite the fact that you think, they only have those 2 Holy Wraths.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about it also is the fact that since it draws so aggressively, and because it does have a decent amount of 1-ups in the deck, Zephyrus can be active pretty early on in the game, which could bail you out of some tough situations that Holy Wrath Paladin, especially against aggressive decks, often finds themselves in. Subdue is also another new addition to the deck that's just a single target removal, which is something that this deck often struggled with. It has big, wide board clears with quality Wild Pyromancer Consecration or Shrink Ray, but it definitely struggled with dealing with one big minion. Subdue kind of fills that gap that was often left open in the previous expansion. So definitely excited to see. Combo Priest, on the other hand, pretty much the same combo that Priest have been doing for a long time, Divine Spirit Interfire. But they also received huge tools with the Neverset Ritualist to be able to heal adjacent minions up to full health with Injured Tolvir and Injured Blade Master. High Priest Ahmet, which is one of my favorite legendaries of the set. The 4-mana 2/7 that whenever you summon a minion, sets its health to whatever High Priest Ahmet's health happens to be at that point. And of course, Psycho Pomp, which resurrects a friendly minion that's died that game and gives it Reborn. So it's much stickier than it was in the past, with extra arms in the Rise of the Mechs patch going to 2 mana, now going back up to 3 mana next week. But for right now, it's 2 mana. It allows you to solidify board positions well early on, and allows you to buff minions more consistently than you ever have been able to, and kill your opponents very quickly.
Yeah, speaking of killing really quickly, Gallon has the ability to pump this Light Warden up and draw cards with Circle of Healing. Already looking a little dicey here for Firebat. This is one of the strongest decks currently in the metagame. Oh my goodness.
Whoa!
That is bad news for Firebat if Gallon chooses to draw the cards. However, he is weakening his own board, so it is vulnerable to...
But 4 cards, Dan!
A Consecration. Yeah, no, 4 cards is great. And I mean, this is looking real powerful. And as far as draws go, this is one of the best Gallon can ever get, really, which is a Northshire Cleric Pyromancer draw, 5 or 6 cards more than your opponent.
Yeah, and one of the things that, one of the reasons why I think this deck got way more powerful is because this combo in itself has existed for some time, but Priest now has other tools to be able to solidify early boards. They can either go all in with extra arms and a buff minion early on, or they can go with the I'm going to draw a bunch of cards and then stick something and kill you. You have multiple avenues to win, and all of them are predicated upon you having a board, which I think is the weakness of this deck. If you're playing against a deck that can continuously clear out every minion you play, then you struggle, because that's your only win condition. You know of Mind Blast win conditions like combo Priest decks in the past. So that's the one weakness, if any, I would have to pinpoint about this deck.
Yep. Just like any combo-oriented deck, it can run into weak draws. I know people are pegging this more as an aggro deck. I personally don't see it. I think it's an oversimplification of the deck. If you choose to just try to curve out, I mean, that is its strongest game plan, but there's so many other ways you can play combo decks that tends to be a little bit more burst-oriented. If it was a curve deck, you just play your biggest thing possible, but you want to save High Priest of Met for other things. You want to save Circle of Healing or all these other different cards for specific scenarios. Same thing goes with the Paladin deck, too. Firebat picks up the Equality, which he could use. I don't know how much he considers as a threat versus he just wants to start drawing deeper into his deck. I think Christology is one of the best cards you could pick up early on. I wonder about how we can utilize that. Looks like Firebat wants to prioritize Hammer of Rat to remove the 2/3. Any high health target is very threatening. But anything that Firebat did that drew cards, I think, this turn, I'd be in favor of.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what you want to do every turn with this Paladin deck. You want to draw cards, but you also want to try and empty your hand as reasonably as possible.
It's true.
Because hand size is one of the things you need to manage the most with this Holy Wrath Paladin deck. It's got a plethora of removal, plethora of draw, but it's about managing those. And holding on to the Equality, I think, is also big, because this 2/3 is not that threatening. And he wants to save his removal until kind of the last possible moment. Because it always feels like, a very unsuspecting minion from the Priest can kill you, but you have to think within reason, right? Is this 2/3 really going to be that threatening? If he Powered Shield, double Divine Spirit, and Inner Fire, you're still not dead. You can still remove it. You can still react.
Right. High Priest of Met, no minion to combo with, no 1-mana Northshire Cleric or Light Warden, but can still just stack its health now that Firebat's already gotten rid of the Pyromancer. That being said, if you set a Met to 1 health, it really nullifies most of its power.
Yeah.
So that Equality in the hand, even if it doesn't necessarily combo with anything, is still very useful. And, Gallon does this as a setup for lethal. I know that sounds pretty absurd for people who've never played this deck, but just look at Divine Spirits 1 and 2, and it goes to, 36. So Firebat would die next turn if he has no taunts or no way to deal with the 2/9.
Yeah.
He does, though, like in the form of Equality, for example.
Yep. It's about whether or not Firebat feels like, at this point, Gallon could have drawn the full combo.
Yes.
He would need exactly Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, but he saw a lot of cards drawn early on in the game.
Elven Archer is a nice pickup, too, because now Firebat can coin that out and stop a Silence from being able to completely wreck him. I believe...
Well, he's already used the only copy of Silence he has in the deck.
Oh, you're right.
Gallon's opting to play double Topsy-Turvy and 1 Silence.
Okay, okay. Usually, the standard deck list on ladder, I feel like, is 2 Silences, 1 Topsy-Turvy.
Yeah.
So, with that 1 Silence already used, Fiber doesn't have to worry about it. Otherwise, Gallon could silence,